it's loading. Okay, it's live. Yay. Welcome back, friends. Happy Monday. Um, yeah, it's Monday. We're all feeling the Monday. Hopefully this kind of is a light for everyone else today because it's been a day. But yeah, we're joined again. We have Chase, we have Jerry, we have Ronnie, and then we have Emily and I, and then we have Taylor and AJ joining us later tonight. So we have a lot to get to, including chapters 3 and 4 of Mockingjay. But before we get to that, we have to talk ballad, of course. And the thing that we did not get to talk about last week was the Vanity Fair first look. So I feel like we should just start off with that. And I'd love to hear people's thoughts on it.
I know. I want to hear everybody else's thoughts besides
Yeah,
me
we've
and
talked too
Holly.
much.
Um, let me, I guess I'll begin.
Yeah, go, Ronnie, go.
Lots of thoughts. So as hinted in the previous episode, yes, we knew something was going to come. I had heard that it was going to be very The Fault in Our Stars-esque first look, from what I heard. I knew no other details other than that. But then when the picture came out, it was 6:30 in the morning when I think it was Rachel Zegler, I think, posted it originally. And I was getting ready for work that morning. I just hopped out of the shower and went on Twitter, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for this first look to come out, thinking that it'd be like noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. And then she just posted it with no context. And I was like, oh, that's this. Okay, here we go. And yes, it is. I didn't like it at first. I thought that it was, I don't want to say didn't like it. I was excited because it's Hunger Games content, but like, I had very mixed feelings about it. But as time has passed, aka a week, it's grown on me a lot, and I really do like it. I like what they're doing. I was just kind of surprised by how, I don't know, just it looked different than how I would imagine it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everybody else kind of thought the same because you can only think of like something in your head versus how it actually looks. But it's good. I want to see more. I definitely want to see more. I don't think it was the best picture that they could have released, but I think that they did it just to get something out there. It seemed like it was kind of like I don't want to say it was a rush job because I don't want to like offend anybody that like worked on that photo or whatever, but it just seemed like, oh, we have to take these pictures before something leaks. So we got to do this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting though. Tom looks great. I'm happy with Tom. I mean, yes, his hair does look like very dyed. It kind of looks like me like during quarantine when I bleached my hair. Like by myself, like it looks just like that. But I do think that it is the lighting. I'm very curious about women. We can definitely have this conversation in a bit, but his dog tag that he's wearing with like that weird symbol, I don't know what the heck is going on with that. And I think Rachel looks good. She looks very pretty, but I don't, she looks like she's wearing lots of makeup. I don't know, like, which, I mean, I love, yes, makeup. Like, yes, please wear makeup. But like, if you're living in District 12, I'm like, how are you going to get that? Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
she looks very good, but it's just like, I don't know. She looks a little bit too clean for me.
Yeah.
But
see, I never noticed the makeup. You make a good point about the makeup. I was more so upset with her outfit that she was wearing.
yeah, her outfit is pretty weird. Like, it looks like it was bought from like Anthropology or Forever 21 or something like that. Like, I mean, it's very chic. I saw a comment when this picture got released and the non-Hunger Games fans saw it. There's this one comment that was like, why do they look like they know what MacBooks are?
Yes, that's so true. That is so true.
It's very true though. I mean, it's an interesting first look picture, I guess. I don't think it was the best foot forward they could have put as like a first thing to release, but I'm glad that it exists. I do think that the movie is going to be very different from how this looks, but yeah, because I mean, it's not like it's not a still from the movie. I mean, it's just like a picture taken while they were filming, from what I'm assuming. So it's not touched up. It's not like, has like the color grading and all that stuff with it. So who knows how it's actually going to look, but if somebody looks at this and has just a casual knowledge of the Hunger Games, I don't think that it's very interesting to them. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, who else has thoughts? I'm sure everybody does.
Jerry, let's hear your thoughts.
I liked it as when I saw it in the morning, I was like, oh, that's cute. And yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it, I guess, because I don't really I don't understand like the clothing aspect of it. Like I thought it was fun, but I understand people's problem with it. And I like his hair. Just I think the yellowness is due to the fact of the lighting, like Ronnie said. But overall, I like it.
Yes.
AJ!
Good positivity.
Yeah,
We're so
I'm
happy
really
you're here.
optimistic.
Yes, AJ, come defend this photo.
Are we talking about the first look photo? I came in just a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all know I immediately was in love. I was like, immediately. There's nothing like, it's fine. I don't know. I mean, I feel like now that I also like made my post about the Francis quote, I feel like I've fully digested that Vanity Fair article.
I loved that post though, because like it's so true. Because a lot of people, I did have issue like when I did see like when the official Hunger Games account tweeted like this love story, blah blah. I was like, oh, gross. But then when you kind of broke it down and was like, actually, it's just like marketing. I was like, oh wait, yeah, they know what they're doing.
Well, thank you so much. And then I also feel extra better because Tom, the man himself, liked the post, which was crazy.
So cool.
And so I feel like
so
that's
cool.
insane.
Good job,
yes.
AJ.
So, I feel like it's pretty safe. And I'm sure he was also relieved to see somebody not destroy a comment section, because I feel like when that article came out, I mean, I don't know if y'all like checked the comment sections on like Lionsgate's account and like the official channels or whatever, but I was like, yo, you guys are ruthless for like no real reason. You need to calm down. And it was like really spicy for like 2 days, and then it kind of like calmed down. And I think after everyone like digested it, like I think more people are like receptive to it. But yeah, I'm just glad that I saw it when it came out, and it was like this weird fluke. It was like released way early in the day, and I don't get up before 11 a.m. That's early for me. So I was like, wait, I caught this right when it came out. That's crazy. And then of course trying to fall back asleep after that was really difficult. And I when I woke up for real that day, I was like, wait, was that a fever dream? Is that real? Like went to my account. I was like, oh no, I did post this. This is a real thing. Okay. But I mean, I loved it immediately. I'm curious to see the more like iconic recognizable outfits, assuming that these aren't the ones, because like we still have to see like Lucy Gray's like rainbow dress and like Snow's like Capitol attire and like the Academy uniform and that sort of thing. It's still really hard to make, because I tried this weekend to make some fan art because I was like, this is the first official look, how exciting. But nothing was coming out right. And like I kept looking at it and I was like I know what this is. And I know that Hunger Games fans would know what this is if they've seen the photo. But I was like, I'm not getting like the iconic ballad look for either of them. And I think it's kind of what you were saying about like, it's, casual fans might not necessarily be like super excited or interested in it. But I guess we'll just have to see. Either way though, like I'm just so pumped. Like you show me anything related to this movie and I'm like, yeah, like immediately.
Same. Definitely in the right place here.
Yeah, they could show me like a picture of the underside of the boot that they wear or something, and I'd be like, yeah, that's a really good sole. Like, like, I'm so excited that I don't know. They really can't do anything wrong in my eyes, at least not at this point. So, yeah.
that just goes to show. Well, we're gonna have to talk about some set photos here in a second too, I'm sure, because we go hard on sunset photos, as you know.
Oh yeah.
We
But
love it.
how do y'all feel about like how Snow's pants are matching the set photos of like the peacekeepers in training uniforms? Have you all seen that? I'm sure you guys have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's so interesting that they wear blue and they're not
Yeah.
just, I just kind of imagine them dressed as peacekeepers. I didn't really imagine them wearing like a training uniform.
It made me think of like, well, like it being the color blue, which is a color that a lot of people associate with peace. And it made me think of like,
Oh,
what's the UN division? In French, they're called les casques bleus, like blue helmets. I don't know if that's what they're called in English, but they're not like an armed force, but they go in for like humanitarian effort and stuff. Yeah, and in French we call them blue helmets. And that's just sort of what, like, that's where my mind went when I saw that set photo.
that's brilliant.
And then obviously it's the Pen M twist, so it's not really peace, but you know, that's what
Yeah.
they're trying to tell you. And yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that they would have a separate uniform to distinguish new recruits versus people who are already active duty. I think also, like, especially in a movie, you need visual contrast between characters so that you can easily decipher everybody, or at least, you know, more so. But yeah.
That is such a good thought. I've not even thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Bring
think that-
AJ back on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
What were you
think they're
saying, Jerry?
called. I think they're actually called UN peacekeepers.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that because I thought that that wasn't right. It's a little too on the nose, but no, I think it is. I think they are called peacekeepers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that they're not wearing green also to just
Mhm.
like detach it a little bit from like our reality
Yeah.
too, because like that would be you know, the most common color I think you would go to a military uniform.
Yeah.
So I think that's I like the blue. I feel like a couple days ago I didn't, but like now
You
it's
hated
grown
the
on
blue.
me. Yeah, I was like, I don't like this. I think it's just because I hate the picture so much.
Yeah.
That I'm like, anything to do with it, I'm like, no, I don't like it.
You hate the first look photo or the like
Yeah,
set
I
photos?
still do. Like at first it was to the point where it made me concerned about like the whole film. Now I'm fine on that front. I think the film's gonna be fine. Like I'm not worried anymore, but I still just don't like the photo. It makes me
It's not a
uncomfortable.
great photo.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like way too modern. I
It
don't
does.
know. It just makes me uncomfortable looking at it. I can't see Panem. I just see something so modern that my mind is just not clicking for me.
I get that. I mean, but at the same time, going back to Tom on how he looks, when I first saw the picture, I was like, I want to punch him in the face. Like, he just looks mean to me. He looks like somebody that would say like a mean slur to me in high school. Like, he just looks very rude. And I think I tweeted like out of just pure just randomness that he kind of looks like a school shooter.
Oh
And
no.
my mom saw that tweet and she like liked it, and I called her and I was like, why would you like this niche tweet about this very niche subject? And she was like, because you're right, he does. So
Oh my
he
God.
has the meanness look, like the mean look going on, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
I don't trust that man to save my life, which I
No.
guess is good.
Yeah,
He
that's
does
great.
look very snake-like, but I just think that I can't get over Rachel as Lucy just looking very made up. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
It's
so
very distracting.
with the whole picture, like I like it. It's my background. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I just don't really like Rachel's outfit. Like we talked about it a few minutes ago, and and you said it looked like it was too modern, something from anthropology, and that's exactly how I felt. But at the same time, like technically, if it's a prequel, then it's closer to modern history. So I guess like I don't know, maybe like anthropology does exist in Panem at that point in time.
It's the
But
not too
I'm sure a
distant
form of it
future.
does.
It's
See, but,
still pretty distant though. Like, let's
yeah,
be real.
also like the outfits that they had in the first Hunger Games movie and like the District 12 folks were dressed in like almost like Depression era inspired clothing. It's like, why would it? I agree that it's like a little bit odd or like maybe misplaced. It feels like an anachronism, like because in 74th Games time, if like they're wearing clothing that we would call like old fashioned, why would there be like a swing all the way back towards that kind of clothing within the span of, I mean, and I know that like fashion is like cyclical and everything, but I don't think like District 12 is concerned with fashion, it's mainly
Lucy
like
Gray
what people
is.
have access to, and in like recycling and upcycling and making new things out of old garments, or at least that's how I would imagine it. And so in that sense, I agree that her dress is like, I don't hate it, and I'm definitely still like, I'm open-minded. Like I'm definitely still like, maybe within the context of the film and the story, it'll make more sense.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, for a first look, assuming this is, the costumes, right? I'm like, okay, it's a little strange. And that's why, like, yeah, it's like close to us and not far enough into the future where there could have been like a complete swing back towards older fashion styles. It's like this weird in between, which I guess makes sense, but because the ballad would be between Katniss and us, but they would still be closer to Katniss than us. So I don't know. I guess I did expect something. I expected more like a dress that has like a collar and like buttons, like a button up kind of dress. It could still be that same purple color. Like the color isn't necessarily what bugs me, but it's the shape of it that feels out of place. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. And also going back to the point of like how we see the original trilogy as kind of being like Great Depression era sort of situation. From the set photos from this movie, from what I'm seeing, it's like it's giving 1950s, 60s like communist Russia vibes, which I think is kind of interesting. Like the set photo of like the District 12 poster. Oh gosh, the big one with like the two people. Emily, I just replied to you about it, I think, today. Oh gosh,
The
which
one that we
was it?
just posted on our stories.
Yeah, the one that's like true work
work
is District 12. It's very reminiscent of like communist Russia from like the 60s posters. I have a really weird interest in old communist propaganda. I know that's very strange, but I think like the posters and stuff like that are really cool. And it looks so much like that. Like in the original trilogy, it wasn't really, it was kind of giving that, but like not as much. This one, I feel like it's giving more of like a hard, I don't know if it's just because they're filming in Eastern Europe / Germany or whatever, but like they're definitely going with a different stylistic direction with this movie that I think is very interesting.
If I can like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, but the more and more I see of it, the more I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I can just piggyback off of that, I super agree. Definitely think them being in Eastern Europe helps that, like emphasizes that. And also like if it's right after the war, then I feel like propaganda would still be around in a very major way. And then like, this is super random, but like I took a Russian modernism class in college because it was like my last elective I had to fill. And I couldn't remember, I can't tell you anything from that class because I just wanted to graduate and be done. But when I've seen these like set photos and stuff, there's definitely like like those posters and whatever, like immediately my mind like flashed back to that class, and I was like, wait.
I learned something actually.
I couldn't tell you anything, but I just remember being like, yes, this is familiar. Things are happening. Thoughts are being thought. Like something's percolating. And then also this random that you bring this up, but like I had a TikTok that showed up on my For You page like a couple days ago about this girl who has a very niche hobby, which is collecting authentic Russian propaganda.
Wait, I follow her.
What?
I follow her. Yes.
The world is so small.
I hate it.
But yeah, so I feel like, yeah, I mean, this movie, I feel like will definitely have a heavier, and just like the book, to be honest, like the book had like a heavier tone. Like I know that the Hunger Games franchise is a heavy franchise, like by nature, but like the tone of Ballad always felt more serious, more political, more like adult. I don't know if that's the right word, but like just like
she grew up with her audience. I mean, Suzanne definitely grew up with her audience.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like that movie or this movie will reflect that, if just in like the set or the background and stuff. But I feel like that really informs the story and like the characters and their mindsets and stuff.
Yes. Well, it's interesting because like the original Hunger Games movies, they influenced, I think, more heavily on like 1940s, 1930s, like Nazi sort of like brutalism, sort of that sort of style. But here, even though it is a prequel, it's going towards like 1950s, 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very interesting choice. But like, I dig it. I totally dig it.
Looking at the costumes from the behind the scenes like photos,
Love them.
all I'm thinking about, because they're so like layered, and my mind is going directly to like City of Ember.
Oh my gosh.
Stop.
Like with all the layers, the clothes are kind of like dirty and dilapidated, and I'm like,
There's this like really cute picture of this one extra. Oh gosh, it's from a video that was taken. I think it was from like a German like news thing where they were talking about the filming of the movie, and they were like quickly interviewing extras.
Wait, is it the girl with the bandana?
Yes, I love her.
Okay, I took a screenshot of that exact girl and I like texted it to everybody, and I was like, look how cute.
She's so cute, but like she's definitely giving City of Ember, like, but I love
We're
it.
all gonna be looking for her on the screen. We're like, where is she?
I hope we see her.
Does anybody else have like, when you watch the movies, and like it could be any of the scenes, but just like seeing where there's definitely like background extras, does anybody else have like the one extra you always look at and
yes.
like, okay,
yeah,
like
immediately
like for example, like I just think of in the reaping scene in the first movie, there's this little girl up front, and like
the nail girl.
The what?
The one that was looking at her nails.
She's my favorite.
There's that one, but there's one that this was pointed out to me on Tumblr like ancient years ago. But this little girl looks like Taylor Lautner, and I can't unsee
I have not seen that.
And every time I see the reaping scene, I'm always like, "There's Taylor Lautner." Like, you know?
Oh my god!
Please send that to me. Like, if you find a picture of her, I would love to see.
Yes, definitely. But I feel like our ballad equivalent now is going to be Bandana Girl. Like, where is she?
I hope she keeps the glasses. Let's invite her on the whoever she probably does. I don't know. She must speak English, because like I think like the casting ad said that you have to speak English to be a part of the production, essentially, which I'm like,
yeah, I loved her glasses. I hope like she actually gets to wear those. Maybe she just needed them to see to walk.
There's also that other photo of like them crossing some like train track sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, there were a lot of photos of them walking around.
Which like, I don't know why the train track one was very haunting to me. Like, I really loved that photo. Or I guess it was a video, but I saw screenshots of said video. It just kind of looked like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is District 12. I can vibe with this.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about Trish Somerville, our queen, our icon, the costume designer, is coming back for this movie. So I trust her. I mean, even though we don't agree on the anthropology dress, I trust her. We haven't seen the full thing yet, so we don't know.
I think I do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to me, she made like she was responsible for Katniss's like engagement dress, which I know is controversial to some people, but it's my favorite.
I love
dress.
that dress.
It is my favorite Katniss dress. I will gush about it any day. And for me,
wait, the one where Peeta's kneeling down in the Caesar Blickerman thing, or the one where she's at President Snow's mansion.
The one at Snow's mansion with the shoulder pad things.
The shoulder, and the guy in the trailer, at least it's not in the movie, but like in the Catching Fire trailer, the guy like touches her shoulder.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking? It's very creepy. He like rubs his shoulder. No, I don't think it is.
Yeah,
I think they took it out. Oh my god, it's so creepy.
Yeah,
why is he touching her like that?
Yeah. Because we did like a Catching Fire watch along, and I think we even commented on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's actually iconic.
Wait, Ronnie, are you saying you like the one when she gets proposed to?
No,
oh no,
I don't really like that one, but I wasn't really sure which one she was. I was assuming that it was the one at President Snow's mansion, but then I was like, wait a second.
All right,
because that one, I mean,
we don't need to go there.
It's a very quick shot, but like, yes, no, it's kind of ugly. Hate it. I hate it.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I think it's very ugly.
We got to do an episode where we rate Katniss's ugliest looks.
Hey, there's an idea.
From best to worst, I'm here for it for all 4 movies.
Taylor, you're on. What did you think of the first look, if you're here?
Taylor.
Sorry, my voice is like almost gone too. So what was the question?
What did you think of Vanity Fair's first look?
I loved it.
Yay!
Unpopular
Yay.
Just
opinion.
an island over here.
Unpopular opinion, but I saw it. Was it like 6 o'clock in the morning? Is that when it came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just making my coffee and I looked down and my first reaction was, oh my gosh, that is so cute. So I loved it.
Yay! I love that. We just had to hear everyone's opinion on the first look because it's very important. Chase, what did you think?
I didn't think it was that bad. There were definitely some flaws, but whatever.
Yeah, Chase didn't attack it, so that was something.
First.
Hey, come on now. It's something. The whole movie. I have more issues with the setting than I do the.
Why is that?
Else. I don't like it. I don't think it matches as well.
It doesn't. I agree.
But
at
that's
the end of
just
the day,
me. I'll give it a chance.
Oh, there goes Rue.
And
He doesn't like it either, apparently.
Rue has a lot of thoughts.
Wait, is that whose dog is that? I'm
It's
sorry, I've only been
Chase.
on a few episodes. Oh my god.
Yeah, he has
The
little
dog's
Rue.
actual name is Rue. That is so cute. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, she's bad. She's not like the one in the books. Evil.
Listen, as long as she doesn't fly from tree to tree, I think you're good.
I love that.
Not yet, but I wouldn't put it past her to try. She really likes my cat. We have an orange cat. So it's kind of like Rue
Buttercup?
almost wants to kill Buttercup, basically. Yeah, like 24/7. Well, that's the thing. She doesn't not like him. She loves him. Like she just wants to go lick his face and stuff. So
Oh.
that's a little too incestual for me because I consider them siblings. So it kind of grosses me out. Anyways, back to the story.
Where am I?
I can't. I love it though. It's more set photos.
Well, what about the TikToks? I mean, that we've seen. There
Yeah.
was one where they were I guess rehearsing the hanging tree
Yes. Oh, I got so
scene,
excited over that.
which that gave me chills. That was
Same.
so cool. I also just loved seeing like the rigging of it and like seeing how they even
That's
film a scene
spooky.
like that, because I had like no idea how that would be done. And it explains also why they didn't do the top of the tree, because they
Yeah.
have to have all that like rigging at the top. So I
Yeah.
get that now.
Do like they actually put a rope around their neck? Like I know they're not gonna like attach
It's-
it, but like, or is that
It's
CGI'd on?
No, I've been on like some film sets before. I mean, they've been like minor movies, but like they've done some sort of like rigging for hanging before, which is like very specific. But they do attach you to like a harness that attaches up to the top of like whatever they're hanging you on, and they put like a fake rope where it's like it's a very short, or I guess it's more of a long rope where they put it around your neck, but they've kind of measured it out to wherever the harness stops, that's where the rope stops around your neck, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So like if you're wearing the full harness and you just have this like fake rope around your neck, it looks natural. It looks like you're being hung.
It's
'Cause
so
I've
Wow,
seen the
that's
movie The Gallows.
fascinating.
It's cool. But like it's also cool to see like it being rehearsed at least, because then when we watch the movie we're like, okay, they're fine actually. It's okay.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. Who do we? I mean, you think it's? I'm trying to think. The people being hung, or at least being rehearsed to be hung. It's.
I feel like
Because there was 3 people.
Yeah, one girl and 2 guys.
Those were the dudes
Didn't he
would be
call
the
out for his love
actors.
to flee?
Yeah. Well, what's her name? Oh my gosh.
Lil.
Lil.
Yeah, Lil. I think that was Lil, and then like 2 peacekeepers or like 2
Lil
miners.
from Survivor.
Who actually gets hung in the book?
Arlo.
The first time it's Arlo.
Yeah.
Is it just
Then-
Arlo?
Yeah,
It was I thought it was just Arlo.
No,
yeah.
I thought that it was
think so.
Arlo and like 2 other miners for some reason.
Really?
And I loaned my copy of Ballad out to a friend to read, so I can't
Went
look
to
this
the
up right now.
Kindle.
Yeah, to the Kindle.
Yeah, the
Go to the
Kindle's best.
Kindle. I just have the physical copy and then the audiobook, which I'm not going to listen to right now while we're on a podcast. But I mean, I don't think it's just Lil. I think it's more than just that. Or Arlo.
I was gonna say, I feel like I mean, at this point, I feel like all of us have like such a distant memory of this. Like we know it happens, we just don't know how it happens. Like for me, I just like remember it being like a man and a woman. I mean, maybe like a young man and a young woman, but like I feel like it was 2 people, and that's what like prompts the hanging tree. But then that can't be correct because the lyrics wouldn't match. I don't know.
It's just Arlo the first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Well,
the
then
second
who the
time
heck
it's
were they
Janus
hanging?
and Lil.
Yeah.
Wait, who
I mean,
is
there
it
was-
with Sejanus?
Oh, Lil.
It's a
Arlo.
little maybe they were just
Arlo.
rehearsing all 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Or
Okay,
it could
that
even
makes
be
sense.
they could just do like multiple people to maybe do like a sequence where they're like
Right.
punishing like different rebels or something.
I could see that. I mean,
Mhm.
especially
Yeah.
in like Mockingjay Part 1, that happened quite a lot. Like
Yeah.
that scene with Snow where he was like, "These rebels that stand before you,"
Mm-hmm.
like that. I love that scene. That scene is so good. Who knows what Francis Lawrence will do with this? He has a
Yeah.
lot to play with this whole movie. I guess this whole book, but I guess we'll have to see when it comes out. Or
It's
when
just
we
so
get a trailer.
eerie.
I'll just take another first look. Something
Honestly,
different.
my God.
Second look.
I just want to see the whole thing. Like as much as I love the pictures, it's not like they don't have the CGI or whatever. They don't have like the film, what is it called? Like the color correction and like the filters and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm going to be really fully, I don't want to say I'm convinced, because I'm already convinced that it's going to be a good movie, but I'm not going to be fully sold, I guess, on it until the trailer comes out, when we see everything come together. It's hard to judge on a first look photo.
I'm just hoping for a first look that looks more Hunger Games like. I think that's when I'm gonna feel better.
I'm
I
hoping
just want
that
them to do like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm hoping we get like a similar first look Vanity Fair thing, but like Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage, for example. Like, maybe not necessarily in a photo, but like just what they will look like in this film. Because I think a lot of people are excited to see that, and like, you know, even like non-Hunger Games fans, because they're freaking amazing actors and everyone loves what they're doing. And I feel like seeing them also in their costumes or in something a little bit more like, rather than just a Google image, like, you know,
well, and like on the Capitol side, because that's been such a mystery up to now. I mean, I guess they haven't really filmed a lot of that, so we've only been seeing the District 12 stuff. So it's kind of like, what is the Capitol costuming gonna look like? What what is that?
Because then like that, in like next to, well, I guess like in juxtaposition, but also in contrast with District 12, I think will also give like a more like well-rounded, I think, idea of the Panem that we'll be looking at. And that could either offset like stuff, or it could like complement it really well. I mean, I'm not worried. Bottom line, I'm never worried. But like but yeah, I think, I mean, that's the next big thing that I'm looking forward to, because I know we're still a ways away from like a trailer or any kind of like moving image with music and all of that. But I need to know what Viola and Peter are gonna look like. I just said PETA.
Peter or PETA is always a problem.
So many times where I've like had conversations with people about the Hunger Games, and they go, "Oh yeah, Peter."
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, no, it's PETA.
You know something though, before I read the book, before I like really knew what the Hunger Games even was, like before I even knew it was like a book series, whatever, I kept hearing Katniss and PETA like in various places, and I thought they were Candace and Peter. So
oh my God,
there's that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if we're gonna do some first admissions or some admissions like that, when I first read the first Hunger Games book in like 2008, 2009, I thought that Katniss was a boy until like the third chapter.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of love that.
Like,
I was like, literally, but
it's hilarious.
Peter Dinklage, it's so insane though to like look back at it. I'm just like, I don't know if it's just me like channeling my inner like closeted self or what, but like I thought that Katniss was a boy. I don't know. But back to Peter Dinklage, fun fact about me, he was a regular at the Starbucks that I used to work at in Brooklyn.
What?
Whoa.
And like I talked to him like almost daily, and he's such a nice person. Yeah, he has this huge dog. It's like, I'm trying to think. It's like a pit bull, but it's like a mix. But it's like more than half the size as he is. And his kids were really sweet too, because he'd bring his kids in sometimes, and his kids went to a French immersion school where they spoke French. And
wait. Which school? Because
it's in Brooklyn. It's it's, oh gosh, I can't remember. Because they have a lot of those over there. But he was so nice, and I didn't realize that he, like, honestly, I didn't know who he was when I first met him. And then, like, later, one of my coworkers was like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy in Elf," and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I like freaked out because I didn't watch Game of Thrones at the time. And I think just based on him, just like talking to him like quite a few times, I think he's going to do a great job as Dean Highbottom.
Okay. My question for you is, what would he get to drink? Do you remember?
he got a grande black.
Oh, he would.
And like, because we also had an Ethan Hawke come in like every morning, and he would get a oh gosh, what was it? He'd get a venti black, I think, too. Or like he'd get a
That's
venti
old
black.
men for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke used
That's-
to live in my neighborhood, and like when I was a kid, like my mom and I would like walk to the park or something, and we'd run into him a lot on the way.
Oh my gosh!
We never like said hi or anything, but he would always wave at us because I guess he like recognized that we like lived in the neighborhood or something. But he was always very nice.
No, he's so
That's
sweet.
cool.
He got this is such a tangent, but we got to the point where like he would know my name without me wearing my name tag. And
I love that.
my very first date with this guy that I dated for like 2 years, we went to go see a movie at this like local movie theater in Manhattan, and we were waiting to go into the movie, like waiting in line or whatever. And I felt a tap behind my shoulder, and I turn around and it's Ethan Hawke. And he goes, "Hey, Ronnie." And I'm like,
Oh my
"Oh,
God.
hey."
Oh,
And he sat next to us during the movie and everything. And then when
That's
he
so
left,
funny.
my date looked at me and was like,
What?
"What the F?" I don't know if I can curse on here, but like,
oh my gosh.
such a
New York
sweet
is not a
guy.
real place, you guys.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not. It really isn't. It really isn't. But at the end of the day, I think him being Dean Highbottom is such inspired casting. I'm so here for it. And
I
I'm
would-
very excited to see what he's gonna look like.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that that's my favorite casting still.
Same.
And
Same.
I mean, Emily and I like mentioned this like once before, but we were both like, how is it that like we never even like thought about it? Like it was not like a popular fan cast or something, but the minute it was announced, it was like, that's so obvious. Like obviously.
No, honestly, I agree
Right.
so
And
much.
I'm just like, I mean, when I saw that announcement, I was so excited. I like ran and told my mom, and like she follows my Instagram and stuff, but she doesn't necessarily keep tabs like we do, right? And and she's like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, ah, like I need someone.
Really?
That's like my mom too. Sorry, mom. She's gonna listen to this.
Same with my mom, so it's okay. We got a lot
Let's
of
all
moms
throw our moms
listening.
under the bus. I'm kidding.
she's like who's Viola Davis? I'm like, mom.
my God.
No, when the Peter Dinklage casting announcement was posted, I just go, "Oh yes!" Like I audibly yelled it. I was in my break room at work, and
Mhm.
I screamed that. It just makes so much sense to me, and I think he's going to do so well.
I
And
can,
Viola
like,
Davis,
yeah. I can just like see Peter and Tom like facing each other and like
Mhm,
the
mhm,
ten- like I can just
mhm.
I see it in my mind's eye and I cannot wait to draw it. That's why I'm still waiting for more like costume looks, because right now like I'm not gonna draw something that doesn't make sense. And since like we have movie news, like I don't like mixing book and movie art. That's just a personal thing. But like the minute that we get that information, it's over. It's over for everybody. That's all I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah, right now I'm
Yes.
feeling most excited to see a scene between the two of them. Like I'm already
It's gonna
just
be very
thinking about the
intense.
very end and like how
Oh,
good
I
that
hope-
confrontation is gonna be.
I really hope that they do that well, because like that scene is so chilling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the start of like, well, not the
The
start,
Hunger Games.
but like the path that President Snow goes down, how he
Yeah.
gets power. So it's gonna be so good.
I feel like that was my favorite part of the book, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think like
Well-
the whole time I was reading it, I was like, I know that Snow eventually becomes president. Like I know that, right? But I was still waiting to see like how the dots connected,
Yeah.
And I definitely saw like, okay, he's clearly gonna screw somebody over. Like I get that. But then that little reveal, I was like, uh-oh. We're in danger now. I know how it's gonna play out, but like I'm stressed.
So it begins.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. Can't wait for that.
I'm just hoping that they like take a good amount of time with that scene and they don't rush it, because I think it's really important.
Mhm.
feel like they're gonna
But
have
we'll
to
see.
rush everything, but
I know. But at the same time, from like what I have gathered, I'm gonna speak in code here. What I have gathered from resources, the script seems to be fairly book accurate.
Fairly.
No, really, actually book
Okay.
accurate.
I was like, what? What does that mean?
Really book accurate. But at the same time, I'm just like, how are they going to have enough time to do all of this?
yeah, they can't make everything book accurate.
They can't. I mean, I
It's
can
like
definitely see them
500 some
condensing,
pages.
which I just think it's insane that they're like, oh, Mockingjay, yeah, let's split that into 2 books or 2 movies, and then with Ballad, it's like, oh yeah, a longer book, let's just make it 1.
I
I think if
agree.
any book deserves to be 2 movies, it's this one. But at the same time, Ballad does have a lot of things that can be cut, I think. Like, because
It
it is a lot of
does.
internal dialogue. Like, it's not internal because it's told in third person, but like, it's a lot about Snow's feelings. He's just feeling a lot of things.
It's a lot of stuff
And
that can be shown. Like it takes up space in the,
yeah,
but it can be shown on screen. And like seeing, Snow having a thought takes 2 seconds. Like in the book, it takes like a paragraph to explain what he's thinking or whatever. I mean, personally, I agree with the decision to split Mockingjay and to keep Ballad into 1 film. But I mean, we talked about this like a long time ago, but I'm like, the limited series format would have fit Ballad the best in my opinion.
100%.
But
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm just glad that we're getting a movie at all because
We're here now. It's fine.
It's
Plus, I mean,
happening.
I just want the experience of going into a movie theater for a Hunger Games movie again, like limited
I
series,
know.
Yeah.
straight to streaming, like, and that would have been cool. It would have been its own experience, but we get to kind of relive some nostalgic moments in our lives. And for those of us who didn't get to see the Hunger Games movies in theaters, and it's like not exactly the same, but it's like very close to that. And so even if just for that, I'm glad that it's a movie.
Yeah.
The experience of seeing the Hunger Games movies in theaters was honestly unparalleled. I remember when I went to see the first one with my sister, because she was the one that could drive. I was like 15, almost 16 when the first movie came out. And she looked at me at the end of the movie and she's like, oh, aren't you sad that like, the movie's over? Like, and you're not going to get another movie for a while? I'm like, trust me, we're going to get a lot before that movie comes out, before Catching Fire comes out. But then when the last movie came out, I was like, oh, we're not going to have anything anymore after this. But now that it's starting up again,
so
I'm like,
sad.
So sad.
I hate
really
thinking back to like 2015.
It was so upsetting.
Awful.
It's like
it was the best and the worst. It was the best and the worst time of my entire life. Because I got to go to the premiere. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
But it was also like, wow, that was it. And I really did not think that she would write another book.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she would have written like another book, but like not Hunger Games related. Yeah. So I'm like,
it was all
very
over.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm. And now we're here.
Exactly. So
it hits me
when the book was
like
announced.
every week.
What's like Paul Rudd meme when he was on the Hot Ones and he's like, look at us, who would have thought?
Yes.
I'm a little I was just gonna say that it's a little bit sad, but I guess expected that they seem to be closing down the filming location during the reaping. I'm like, dang it, we're not gonna get leaked pics probably. We might some drone still,
footage.
But
somebody get some drone footage. It's 2022. they didn't have the luxury back in like 2011 through like 2014 to take drone footage. Like, somebody please do it.
I'm kind of glad though. I mean, like, I hate to be like this because I am obviously so eager for this movie, but I still want some mystery because I mean, I talked about this like in a previous like session thing. Like, I'm the kind of person, like, there's something I really am excited to see. Like, I'll avoid all trailers and everything until I see it. I like one blind. Hunger Games is a little bit different in the way that, even if I wanted to do that, I know that I couldn't do that. So, like, I mean, there are certain things that I'm excited to keep unknown or at least like not fully spoiled, I guess you could say, until the movie actually comes out or a trailer, like an official release comes out. So, and I'm sure at some point we'll get something possibly, you know, from the inside, but I don't know. I think it'll be okay.
I mean, we could have left the lake scene outfits a mystery. I would have been good with that.
All right.
I want to see the reaping stuff.
I want to
At
see the
least
reaping
now-
stuff so badly.
See, but like, okay, Emily, can I offer you this? I'll see your comment and I'll raise you. You've seen the lake thing outfits and you're not impressed. And you're like, all right. And maybe you'll find a way to make peace with it. And then like the actual trailer or promo poster or something will show the more important outfits and they'll be much better. And you'll be like so relieved and therefore like more excited that your disappointment for the first look will kind of just wash away. Like, do you see that as a
Oh
possibility?
yeah, yes, I think so. I think we should just
Okay.
burn
That's what-
that first look.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Honestly, that's what's gonna happen though, because like, I just feel like that first look was not.
Yeah, that's what
do
I feel like.
think
I just need to
that it
see
was
something
rushed.
else. I need to see a
Yeah.
different scene and I'll be fine. But like right now, it's like the only official thing that we have of our two main characters. I'm just not vibing with at all. So just give me something else so I can forget about this one. It's fine.
I wish they
That's what
waited,
I wish they
like
waited
for like
to.
like the zoo, like or something. Like a
I
picture
mean-
from the zoo would have been a great first look.
I can already imagine the zoo picture though. I mean, it's just gonna be Snow and Lucy just like touching hands through the bars.
That's what I thought
It's
it
like
a
could
dark
be. I was like,
zoo,
oh my
like,
gosh,
it-
are we gonna get that? Like, is the first look? No.
I had a feeling that it'd be the lake, or I guess the meadow scene, because they just had filmed that. And I really do think, this is my theory, I don't think that it's necessarily true, but I think they were really worried about leaks for like the upcoming scenes that they were filming. So they just wanted to get a first look out of like
Mhm.
what they looked like, especially Snow. So that like they like Lionsgate just wants to be ahead of the game in this situation.
Which mm-mm.
I know it wasn't a
It
great
took
first
so
look.
long to even acknowledge the existence of this movie publicly. And now they're like,
No,
scrambling.
really.
It's fine.
But I don't want to say that they're scrambling though, because like it's still not coming out for another like year and some. Like it's
No.
I mean, the Catching Fire, like I mean, there was a year and a half between Hunger Games and Catching Fire, and like that marketing was on point. Like I mean, they released stuff frequently for Catching Fire, even though that movie did not come out for so long. I just think they're just kind of getting, I want to say that they're just kind of getting their groove back on how to advertise this movie, because I'm sure that like a lot of the people in the marketing team are probably not with Lionsgate anymore, because like it's been years and
Mhm.
all that stuff. But like no matter what the marketing is, at the end of the day, we're still going to get a movie that is made from the people that did Catching Fire, Mockingjay Part 2. So it's I have faith, even if like the first looks look weird and like the set photos look weird. Like we need to take a step back and just realize this isn't what it's going to look like on screen.
I agree.
I'm trying.
It's hard. It's so hard. But like, we just have to kind of take it as it is and not dwell on it too much.
I believe
But
in you.
I mean, I believe in
have-
them.
I have faith in the production team, and I have faith in you too, Emily. I think
Thank you.
with time and reflection and a support group like us,
It helps to hear the positive comments, that's for sure.
that was something that somebody commented on my post, like defending Francis, was like, it was a really sweet comment actually, and they were like, it's so nice to see like a positive, like somebody saying something positive in this like sea of negativity. And I'm like, you can count on me for that. If it's related to the Hunger Games, you know that I'll be an optimist all the way through. For other aspects of life, I can't make those same promises, but
I feel you.
but if it's the Hunger Games, then I got you. Like I will find the silver lining in everything.
I'm just in the sea of negativity right now. I'm drowning in the waves. I don't know.
Just
But-
don't let it overtake you too much. Because I mean, I do as much as, because you know me, I am very critical of this. I do think that like there's some things that I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. But at the end of the day, I do trust what they're doing. I do think it's going to be a good movie. Even if like the reaping scene doesn't take place in front of the Justice Building, I'm now kind of on board with that.
Do you guys think
Like, it's-
there's one building where that poster is on the side?
Oh, I
It kind
saw
of
that.
looks like a
Yeah.
Justice Building.
Emily
little
has
bit.
I don't know if that's a side that they're filming on though. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to be satisfied until I see like a trailer or a first look of the reaping scene.
Yeah, I don't know.
'Cause
It's
it
giving
could
me
be.
hope. I don't. It might not be related to the reaping, but it looks like it could be something. So just give me a building that looks like it could maybe eventually be the Justice Building, and I'll be all right.
just a singular Justice Building. It'll make my day.
Yeah, that'll change everything. Turn this whole thing around.
But I kind of get that though, because we do need to have. I think the main criticism that all of us, I mean, I don't want to speak for the whole group, has with this movie is that there's nothing recognizable from the original trilogy, and we're kind of looking for something.
I mean, the District 12 seal is pretty similar. It's definitely like a different version of it, but if you're familiar with, you know, all the district seals from the original franchise, I think you can very easily make that jump to this like new/old version of them. And I'm sure we'll see more of that with like the Capitol. I'm sure that's going to be on like flags and buildings. I hope it's like they have the little, what are they called in English? They're like little patches that are in uniforms sometimes, you know, or it's like a coat of
uniform patches. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like sounds right to me.
Okay, we have a specific word for it in French, which is why I asked. But I in my head, like that the Academy has that on the blazer or something.
Yeah,
Like a Boy Scout badge?
No, just like
embroidered
private
like
school
patch.
uniform thing that usually has like a little
Yeah.
coat
like
of arms.
seal.
Like a logo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
The logo. But and I mean, like the little District 12 seal that we've seen is like, you know, from like leaked set photos and whatever. But I'm hoping that as official content gets released, we'll see more of that, like with the Capitol and the District 12 one. I hope that they make an equivalent for that for all 12 districts, because I need the District 4. I need it.
I'm sure. I hope you will. I want to say I'm sure, but I don't know. But I really hope you will.
I know, like, just, you know, because I need it. It's a personal request that I'm making that they absolutely don't need to fulfill, but I just think it'd be pretty neat. And I'm hoping that that will, like, you know, kind of what you're saying, like be more recognizable to people, or like at least be a distinct callback to the original series. It'd be cool to see, like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but like if they end up doing like a sequence, you know, where like Snow's out like hunting mockingjays or something, I think it would be so rad to have one of the mockingjays like in flight, but like in one of the poses from the book covers, or like similar to
I've not thought of
or
that.
something.
That sounds cool. I like that.
It would just be like a cute little wink to like the audience, be like, hey, this is a Hunger Games movie. Are you following me? Like,
Write it down, write it down, write it down.
But I don't know. I mean, I think of things like that. Like if I was an animator or a VisFX person, and be like, can I get away with putting in little Easter eggs like that? And like either A, would the art director let me do it, or would it be so subtle that they wouldn't necessarily catch it, but fans would be like, oh my God, it's doing the pose from the thing.
Doing the thing.
Yeah. And that's, like the more recent Disney movies, like they put in a lot of little Easter eggs like that. And
Yeah.
it makes my heart feel warm. And so I would love for there to be some kind of little bits and pieces like that. I think it'd be really cute.
I mean, Francis Lawrence did say in the article that there were going to be a lot of connections.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, I don't know what visual connections we're going to see, but apparently there's going to be a lot.
But I don't know if he meant like visual or just like story. Because like, I mean, the connections that we can make through the book, like the hanging tree, like various other things that she kind of connected back to. Like, I mean, they can definitely show that in the movie, but I don't know about visual connections.
He said connections to Katniss as well. And I'm like, connections to Katniss? Like what? I mean, I guess
I just saw Hanging Tree.
The songs. But then he specifically mentions Hanging Tree. So I'm like, what else are you talking about? Which also I thought was a little weird that he mentioned the Hanging Tree. I mean, I mentioned this on our Holy Nights episode yesterday.
Yes.
But like, that's a spoiler. Or like, it's a huge moment in the book. I think when you read that, you're like, oh, wait. Like, Lucy Gray wrote the Hanging Tree? But
I guess, like, if you don't know how or why it's connected to that. Like, you'd still get that reveal of like, oh my God.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
also like
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like people that read the article, it was more fan service than like casual readers that are like, oh, let me read this article about the new Hunger Games movie.
Like if somebody isn't familiar, they probably are not even going to remember that they read that or what it means. And then for us who are fans, we've already read it and we already know. I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Francis was like, there's a huge twist at the end. Like, like,
right.
Things are not as they seem, like, obviously. But because I mean, somebody who hasn't read the book or who like doesn't necessarily know what's going on with that, like they might be like, huh, but have no clue in what direction that could go in. I mean, honestly, they could even that could even like be referencing like, oh, we're using like the melody in the score, like, like some really abstracted connection.
That's true.
But yeah, the only thing I'm hoping for as far as that is there were moments when I read Ballad where those connections felt a little bit forced and like on the nose.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm just like, please, let's avoid the like cheesy callbacks or references. Just because, I don't know, I just don't want to cringe. But like,
there were so many moments where I rolled my eyes, like honestly, when reading Ballad for the first time.
Yeah, like
I was like, of course.
Is it Maud Ivy that points out the Katniss plant by the lake?
Yeah.
Like that moment, I
didn't like that.
I was like,
I mean, I don't think they're gonna do that in the film though,
no,
because they didn't establish that in the movie.
Yeah, no, I would really hope not, because that would be really weird, and that would be almost like I would consider that a fourth wall break. Like,
honestly,
having like the name Katniss in there. No,
like don't do that. And like, when I first read Ballad and hearing, familiar names like Heavensby Hall and Arachne Crane, whatever, I was like, it makes sense because, you would have these like capital citizens that have long established families, that makes sense to me. But I was like, oh, I hope this isn't just going to be a whole bunch of name dropping. And thankfully it didn't like end that way. Like it didn't continue. It was more so like in the exposition part of the story. But yeah, I'm just like, please don't be like, hey, audience, look at this arrow-shaped plant. Guess what? It's called Katniss. Did you know that? Like,
yeah.
But it'll be fine. I'm not worried.
I mean, they
trust
don't
them
have
to
time to
not do that.
dwell. Yeah, they don't have time to dwell on that sort of thing. I feel like too
No.
in the movies because they have a lot to get through. I'm just curious as to what the budget of this movie is going to be too.
When do
'Cause,
we
I mean,
when do we find that out? It's only if
Yeah.
they studio
it's like
releases
after-
it.
Yeah, it's like after
Mm.
like the movie has been released, and like that's usually when they disclose that information. It's kind of annoying, but I feel like they're going. I don't know because there are parts of me where I'm just like, I feel like they're going for a cheaper budget because they're filming in a lot of very similar locations and all in Europe. They didn't go back to Atlanta where they filmed Catching Fire. They didn't go back to North Carolina where they filmed Hunger Games. Like,
Plus, you
it
gotta
seems
get
like they're doing it.
Peter Dinklage and their salaries, and I'm sure that's like.
No, that's very true. It's very
But,
expensive. But it
And
just it. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I just said visual effects.
Yeah. Wait. God, I really hope they do a lot of visual effects for this one.
I think they will.
Because like the Capitol in general, I'm dying to see what they do with the Capitol. Because in that interview, I mean, Francis Lawrence said like the Capitol looks different, District 12 looks different, and I mean, I'm like, yeah, yeah, we can see that from the set photos, but the Capitol scenes in general, I'm so curious to see what they do with those because like we haven't really seen any filming from the Capitol other than like the arena.
Yeah. I would love, this isn't going to happen, but I just want it to happen. I would love for them to go back to Noisy Grand, which is where they filmed the tar pit scene. And
Oh, that I
2.
want to go there so badly. That's on my bucket list.
It's incredible. And because that is capital and that location is in Europe, you know, and
Paris
like
is
half
so
the
close.
cast seems to be hanging out in France right now. So I'm
I
like,
was about to
y'all.
say,
But the
Rachel
thing is, like,
Zegler
people,
said Disneyland right now.
Oh yeah.
but like, you know, people live in that building complex, and it's, you know, I feel like it would be a huge logistical issue and really expensive to either pay everybody that lives there to film something, or like, I don't know, even just get permission to do so.
I mean, they did it the first time.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was being lived in at the time or like how it was. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it was
feel like-
because that's where
Yeah.
how we got leaked photos.
I was
So
gonna
many
say
leaked
People
photos.
were like hanging out their windows taking pictures.
because my mom knew that those buildings from when she lived there because she's from there, and yeah, so but I don't know like to what extent. I don't know if they've been renovated. Like I don't know what the deal is. I just know that it's a low income
Yeah.
compound area, and so I don't know what the, I guess, rules are for like filming in that kind of context. I don't know. Because also, I mean, that scene, and I don't think they would film something as elaborate as that again for Ballad, but I mean, it takes a long time and film shoots take forever. So, like, even if they're only there for like one little shot, you know, that they're going to be there at least all day. That's a lot of people they have to pay because that place is actually huge. And it's not just those buildings, there's like a whole bunch of buildings around it that you actually kind of walk through to get there. And it's massive. So I'm like, there's a lot of people in there. But I just think, see, like that would be a callback that I would love, right? Like just like,
Same.
hey, if you remember this from Mockingjay Part 2, here's a wink for you. Here's a little sticker for you. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if they're gonna film it because after what they're doing in with that park, we don't know where they're going after that. Right? Like it's just they're filming at that park and then like doing the hanging
I
tree
think
scenes
they're
in District
going
12,
to
but
another
another part in Germany,
city in
right?
Germany. Yeah. And then then I would think they're going to Berlin, but I don't know. Yeah.
Mhm.
I did hear that they were going to be doing some like interior shots at some studios in Germany.
Hmm.
I mean, because they can't shoot the entire thing practical. I mean, they're gonna have to build sets and stuff. But I'm just curious as to like, especially with going back to the capital. Where are they going to film there?
Well, and like, aren't they supposed to be out there until November? Like Germany, Poland until November?
Yeah,
that's a long time, actually.
I think that's when filming is going to wrap up, honestly.
Yeah, it would kind of have to, because if it was like November and then by the time you like edit everything and put everything together and like, I mean, literally make the movie, then it's November 23. So,
and with like the whole digital effects stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
that all that takes like more than like a year, honestly, to do. So,
I mean, it seems
Which I'm-
like from what they're filming, then they've been getting through things pretty quickly. Like if
Mhm.
they're
It does seem
basically going
pretty
to be
quick.
done with
That's what's been
all
so-
of part 3, plus they already did the arena too, which is
Yeah.
like parts of part 2. I mean, it's just the tribute side, not like the mentor side, but it seems like what are they going to film through? Maybe it's like the first week of November or something.
Still,
I
though.
saw the first part, like where they're going to go to after this in Germany. From what I've seen, it's going to be more District 12 scenes.
Uh-huh.
Like the next location that they're going to go to, I cannot remember for the life of me what the name of that area is called. But it's a very
Wasn't it like
industrial area.
Cologne or something like that?
Yeah, Cologne. Yeah, Cologne. It seems like they're going to do more District 12 scenes there.
I wonder if
But like,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, other than that, like, I don't know where else, but continue.
I was just gonna say, like, I wonder if we can assume that like the Poland stuff and like arena stuff is finished, which to me definitely felt fast. Cause I mean, but I don't know if that's because like I'm thinking we're getting like a full games like in the way we have in like the first movie and Catching Fire to a certain extent, right? And I know that that's not going to be the case, but I'm like, I wonder how much arena will actually get then, because it feels like they filmed over there very quickly.
They did.
So
Yeah. In my
I
head,
want-
it's more from Snow's perspective. Like, that's
Yeah.
just how I think it's gonna be. Like, we're just gonna see what he's seeing.
but I'm
But-
thinking like, are we getting like a training montage with, but it's like the arena, like, just really
I
quick
don't know.
and like overlapping, scenes and stuff, or like split screen things. I don't
Split
know.
definitely I could see a split screen though. I mean, no, that's more Gary Ross, honestly. Francis Lawrence wouldn't do split screen.
Yeah.
But
Like,
Hey.
I love Gary Ross.
Gary
Listen,
Ross is
I
boss.
love. I would love to see. I would
I
love
know, I'm
to
just
see
playing.
all of his movies, but like, honestly, God, love Gary Ross. But I just think that like with how they're doing the arena scene so quickly, I think they're kind of stayed true to the book, where like it is kind of more of like Snow's perspective, and they might be doing like more inside scenes with like Snow in the Citadel, which like who knows where they're going to be filming that. Like more of his like reaction shots. I don't think we're going to be getting a lot of the games. I think we're going to be getting more of the like than the book, but I don't think it's going to be as much as we want, if that makes sense.
I mean, I'm honestly okay with that. I was like, it's not that I was bored with the games part. Of
No,
the
I was
book,
bored.
but
I was bored with the games.
I
Same.
wasn't like the last part, like honestly, like Lucy Gray winning and like the chain of events that like immediately lead up to that were interesting, but like, and then like the explosion and like Snow going in, obviously, but like, it was like kind of hard to pay attention and keep track of everything because of the nature of these games and the fact that they're not very high tech yet, and they're not very like they're still very rough, and like even for like some capital citizens are like, what is the point of this? What are we doing here? Like reading it was kind of like, okay, I don't really know where we're going, and that's kind of distracting, as opposed to just being able to be fully immersed in the action of the story. So like,
But
if like if they trim and cut down the games portion of the story, like I'm okay with that. I just like, now I'm like, wait, how are you going to do this though?
No, it's true. I do think that at the end of the day, like that's kind of the point of Ballad, because like
for sure
it's seen more as, I mean, like in the original series, it's seen as more of like, you know, a game show, like a reality show. But in Ballad, it's very video game like, where it's Snow, oh, I gotta give this person more health, like blah blah blah. Like it's very detached. And I think that that's very important to show in the movie, to show how like detached this sort of, I mean, it's so messed up. Like,
oh yeah. I'm in like, not in a weird, not, I swear, not in a weird way. I'm really excited to, hopefully this is a scene that we get. I'm pretty sure it is, but to see Snow face off with Bobbin, because that scene was crazy to me in the book. And I feel like nobody talks about it enough, but I need that right now. And I that's something that I'm mildly worried about, in the sense of like how
well, I don't want to, I'm going to calm your fears right now without saying too much, but it's going to be a scene in the movie.
Okay, that's all I care about. I figured they would.
It's going to be a big thing.
I figured they would, only because like, you know, when they were announcing like casts, and it was like rounds of tributes and mentors, they didn't cast every single tribute or make an announcement, at least.
They still haven't.
No, and I don't know that we will, because I feel like the rest will just be like extras or like stunt doubles, but like on screen or whatever. And I feel like because Bobbin has specifically been cast, and he was one of like the first ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was.
I assumed, I'm like, if you're making an announcement with this character, that means that he's going to get a decent amount of screen time. So I took that as a good sign for sure. And he follows me back on Instagram, so it's extra special to me.
Oh!
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that scene.
I'm excited for the whole thing.
I'm so scared. I already know that I'm gonna pee myself. Like, I'm so like, yeah.
Okay, should we talk about Mockingjay? Because we got 2 chapters.
Transition over.
Let's do it.
Where did we leave off? At chapter 2, Katniss
will be the Mockingjay.
I'm going to be the Mockingjay.
It's 32 in the paperback version.
32 is the start of chapter 3.
And hardback. And the
hardback,
version.
it's the same.
Yes.
Ooh,
love that.
Susie Q knew what she was doing.
This is like, this whole chapter is her being like, am I going to be the Mockingjay? And then Prim being like, yeah, do it. But make some exceptions.
Pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
They did it so well in the movie, I think. Like, it's that whole scene where she's sleeping, or Katniss is trying to sleep, but she can't. And Prim is like, hey, wake up. Tell them what they need to tell them anything. Like, you have the control here. I remember that being very refreshing to me when I was reading this.
Good job, Prim.
She's so good. Oh, R.I.P.
Page 33. There's a line that the little girl with the back of her shirt sticking out like a ducktail, the one who needed help reaching the dishes, who begged to see the frosted cakes in the bakery window. 1, that made me cry. 2, it reminds me that she needs to go see her father. She needed to go see her real father at the bakery.
She was drawn to the bakery.
No, she was.
No.
There's another little piece of evidence.
Primus Peta's daughter.
Susanna's
Or
just
not
dropping
Peter's, but-
hints.
She really is.
You know, I had to get that
That's
in there.
what the post-credit
This-
scene for. Actually, it's like, hey, so now that we got that out of the way, Peta's dad is Prim's dad.
Exactly.
Probably
so
if you
on board
asked
with
Suzanne
that.
about that, she'd be like, what? I thought it was obvious.
Literally.
I think these chapters are really interesting because as an adult, I pick up on them. But of course, as 12-year-old Holly, I didn't really. But just the like sort of sprinkles towards Coin and her like evil side, you know, like we start to see that she isn't the savior that District 13 kind of makes her out to be.
Yeah.
And I just tried to like pick as many moments as I could. And I feel like that's what these two chapters are specifically
Yeah,
about.
there's a lot of comparisons between life in District 12, life in District 13, and like the mindset of the Capitol. Candace
Mhm.
is doing
I
a lot of
honest-
reflecting between the three.
This whole chapter kind of made me realize that like capitalism is bad. Like, because she started out by saying that, oh gosh, where was it? She basically was like, oh yeah, District 13 is fine. And then like, she'd be like, oh wait, no, they had a smallpox epidemic and they just see us as cattle. And it just kind of showed how like, oh wait, no, District 13 actually, even though they seem good and like they want to like have their population like grow or whatever, that they're doing it in a malicious way. It's upsetting.
Mhm. There is one part though, so this is a little off topic from what we're talking about, where I'm starting to give Gail credit in these first few chapters, because when she's talking about like wanting more turnips or whatever, and he offers to give it to her, and he just like gives her his food. I'm like, okay, you're
Yeah.
not that bad in these
I
moments.
feel like there's a few different moments where you just really see how strong the friendship is between the two of them, I think,
Yeah.
Mhm.
early on in Mockingjay, which I feel like is a little bit missing from the movie. Like it just assumes that like, yeah, they're friends, like they're close. Like we already know that. So we don't need any of these like moments in the movie.
Well, especially in the movie with him getting so angry so quick, especially
Yeah.
with PETA
Mhm.
and Caesar's interview. I don't know. It's just like I agree with you. You need more of those moments to kind of prove that they are friends, and like she finds so much comfort in him in a way that she couldn't with PETA too. So
Which
I give him credit.
going back to what you were saying about Coin, like the movie really takes a lot of these hints out. I feel like
Mhm.
they want to hide the fact that I think they want you to believe that she's good and like don't want to give that in any of like the first movie, like Mockingjay Part 1. I feel
Yeah.
like it's not until the end where she does that speech, like she has more of an arc
Yeah.
of becoming
That
something
speech.
else, whereas in the book it's like she's always been this way, and you can tell very early on that
That's my main criticism of the movie though, is that like she seemed fine because it's the fabulous Julianne Moore just doing her thing. And then at the end of the movie, at least Mockingjay Part 2, she reaches her arms out and she's like, whoever shoots, like she's basically begging for it. Like it's kind of like,
Yeah.
what? Like what's
she
going
cuts
on
her
here?
hair and becomes a totally
Yes.
different person.
and like the outfit that she was wearing as well, it's like it's very
Karen.
capital. Yeah, very Karen. Very Karen. But like you can see, I think at the end of this chapter it is like when she finds her prep team, which I really wish that they would have kept in the movie. Because like I mean those actors, I'm sure they would have come back. Just how they treat, like I mean I know they kind of condense it down to Effie, but Effie wasn't treated this way.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I just think that it would have been very powerful. I lack for a better word, I guess, to kind of show that like this is how they treat Capitol born citizens.
Mm-hmm. In these chapters too, I think that Suzanne does a really good job of writing in her Katniss's trauma too and her PTSD.
Yeah.
And again, that's something that like they attempted in the movie and like the movies. And yeah, they did like an okay job, but again, like we'll get to later parts with her and Joanna and stuff where they kind of failed to fully portray her emotions and her vulnerability, which is
Yeah.
a bummer.
And there's only so much you can do, I guess, in a 2.5 hour long movie,
Yeah.
but like
But I'm like, there's
the same
two
time.
parts.
Yeah.
Exactly. They could have done so much more. But that's kind of why I'm like a little bit afraid of Ballad, because like Snow is very traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least. I mean, I don't want to defend him because he's an awful human being, but like I just don't think that they're going to be able to get the nuances in.
Yeah. I guess kind of like skipping ahead to 40. There's like page 40. There's the joke about like them playing Galen as her cousin.
I underlined that too because I kind of forgot that this even existed, this request to like
Yes.
have Gail around, because that's not something that she requests in the movie. And I don't really reread Mockingjay, to be honest. So I keep running into new things that I forgot. But then that line is hilarious that they're both like, we're not cousins at the same time.
Yeah.
Peak comedy.
That's one of my favorite lines that I wish they would have done in the movie is like when Coin says, because Katniss is like, Gale, I need him to do this. I need him to do this with me or whatever. And Coin is like, with you how? Off camera? Before? By your side of all times? Do you want me to perceive you as your new lover?
Like what?
Like it's very matter of fact. And like
yeah. And the way she's not saying it with any sort of like ill intent, or like, I mean, maybe that's there, but like the way she's saying it out loud is just like, yeah, very matter
dry.
of fact. It's funny.
I also just like when I read Mockingjay, especially, I just forget that she's 17 in this book. I don't know.
It's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah.
That's what I turned 27 this year in December, and I'm just like, oh my god, I cannot imagine like 10 years ago me being in the middle of the political revolution. I could not. I was unstable now, and I'm unstable then. Like I cannot
Honestly,
do that.
Same. I just think about that. I'm like, she's younger than you, and look what she's done. What have you done?
No, literally. Because like when I first read the books, like I was like, oh, she's older than me.
Yeah.
Because I read the books in like 2008, 2009, or like the first book at least. And now I'm just like, oh, this is literally a child.
Yeah. It's
This
just
is
so
a big
hard
choice.
to read.
But like this book is so good. I love Mockingjay. I absolutely love it. I think it's very interesting. Oh wait, go ahead.
Oh no, you go. You're fine.
I was just about to say on page 45, how Katniss says, because Sylvia Cardew is doing her whole thing where she's just like, oh, we got to do this and this and this and this, and then Gale's like looking confused, and then Katniss mouths to her, "Welcome to the Capitol," which is what Coriolanus says when he meets Lucy Gray.
Oh, that's funny.
Look at you. That was a good point.
It's in the script. I have to be honest. It's gonna be in the movie.
Who are you with this script, first of all? That's
Well, it's too
Well-
bad it's not like in Mockingjay, so that we can't have a dialogue
know.
callback.
Yeah.
We can't make it. We can't.
we
make a
kept all the
TikTok
wrong things in these
combination.
movies.
We really did. No, that's kind of how I feel about this because, like
Suzanne, you should
a lot of the honestly, a lot of the important stuff that I feel like they should have focused on in Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, like by the time we get to Ballad, it's like it's not going to make sense to just casual viewers. I feel like because we're obsessive freaks over the Hunger Games, so like we know what's going to go what's going to go where, but like yeah, I'm a little concerned, but I really hope that the Welcome to the Capitol line stays, only because it could just be like, oh, Katniss at least mouthed that in Mockingjay.
Yeah.
I have to say, like on these pages, right, like 42, 43, reading these lines that belong to Effie in the movie is so strange.
So
Yes.
strange.
Like
No, I
about
was
the
thinking that too.
coffee and like the side action thing. I was like, wait, these are actually in the book. And they don't belong to Effie. It's so
How rude.
strange. And then
But like
him saying
think
like,
it just
oh no, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just like saying the lines, like how Plutarch is the one who gives Katniss Cinna's sketchbook, and it's just so weird. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong, but at the same time, it's like it makes sense. Like when you like if you condense it to a movie, like I can see how like the reason why they condense this down to like these just two roles of like Effie and Plutarch.
Who do you
Yeah.
do you guys have like a like what is it called when you self-cast somebody? Like do you
Fan
have like
cast?
a fan cast? Yeah, do you have a fan cast for Fulvia? Like because I don't know who like how to
I
picture her when I
don't.
read.
No, I don't. I don't at all. Like
No,
I
like who
trust me,
cares
I
about Fulvia?
No,
I'm
I
just
do,
realizing how
I
big of a
do.
part she has.
She does have
I
a
am
big part.
right.
She's like somewhere between like Cressida. She feels kind of like Cressida, like in the movie.
Yeah.
And Effie, like a combo of those two.
Don't get me started.
Wait, no, wait. Let's get you started. Tell me.
One of the worst actresses in the entire series. Actually, I actually give her the trophy. She's the worst actress in the entire series.
Natalie Dormer?
Yes, Natalie Doorknocker.
I
Oh
think
my
it's
God.
more
Oh
the
my God,
script.
she was
I think
so
it's more the
nice.
script
It's
and
the
the
script.
character.
I agree.
I was
than
gonna say,
anything.
yeah,
She-
I feel like it's more the character because she's still Capital, and so I feel like even though she defected and she's like aiding the rebel cause, she's still culturally Capital, if I can say that. And like her awkwardness with Katniss is probably because like they're from completely different planets. And as much as she
Yeah.
wants to help Katniss, she knows that she can't like reach her in a way that Katniss can actually respond to authentically and do so. And like, I feel for Cressida in the sense that like, if I were in her position, how awkward that must be. Like, my job is to film you, a traumatized human being, a traumatized child, and then I have to put you on screens and continue to use you like as a pawn, basically. Like, that's awkward. And I feel like Natalie's like delivery for some lines is awkward, but I feel like it matches. I don't know. That never bothered me, but you're allowed your opinion, Chase. I'm not trying to step on toes.
No, it's okay. I understand.
I don't know. I think I side with Chase on this one for once in my life.
You.
She read it very.
Drinking.
It was very dry. Her performance was very dry.
I think it's pretty rough, but
But at the same time, I mean, like, I want to say a lot of the District 13 extras. I don't want to say extras, but like supporting characters were very one note. I mean, other than Mahershala Ali, he was very good as Boggs, but
Oh, so good.
oh my God, my favorite.
it's so good. But like the rest of them were very like, oh, we're gonna be on scene for, or we're gonna be in the scene for like 2 seconds. let's make it worth it. And they still kind of delivered a very like lackluster performance, even though they're talented actors.
Mm-hmm.
I try to give her credit though. I just kind of push her to the back of my mind when she pops up. So it's nothing against her personally. I just the role, it was a mixture of badness, and she gave it her all.
She did
A
what
for
she had
effort.
to do.
She didn't give all her
Exactly.
hair. Just half.
And she offered. She offered.
She
her.
did.
She did, which I'm kind of upset. I'm like, why didn't they just shave it completely if she offered it? Like,
It's not completely in the book, is it?
it is. It's completely
It's
shaven with like
completely
the vine
shaved, yeah.
tattoos.
Ew, I'm glad they didn't. That would freak me out, I think. I'm
No.
sorry.
It's book
Oh my
accurate.
I can't with the hot takes.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm a book purist, so
God. Well, in Mockingjay, then we find out that
We're getting to the end of chapter 3, and I was reading this because I just had once I got to it, I was like, oh yeah, this happens. But as I was reading like page 46, I was like, wait, I'm confused. What's happening? Like what is the mystery here? What's going on? And then I got to the end and it was almost like reading it for the first time. I was like, oh
yeah, forgetting that this happened.
yeah,
see
which
the
is so
prep team.
awful.
this is the part where Suzanne could have cleared up a lot of issues, in my opinion. Take out the
Okay.
prep team. They can get. I mean, they can end up. I mean, it's horrible, but like I feel like it makes more sense that they're probably executed with Portia, even though that's not their stylist. But if Sin is dead, let's just go to them next. And then instead of getting the prep team out in time to put makeup on Katniss, get Effie out and have Effie in District 13 as a prisoner. I think it would have connected more with the readers that like, oh my gosh, like Effie's a prisoner, like they've been torturing her. You have Effie in the story. You don't have to make up some weird reason of how she, or it's like very obscure how she survived. All that gets cleared up. The prep team goes away, which I mean, no one's just like clamoring for more prep team content. And the whole story is resolved. No Fulvia. It'll just be Effie. No prep team. That I should have written the book for her at that point.
You're
I
not
think the
wrong.
prep team kind of, it's important to distance Gale and Katniss. So I don't know. I mean, they could have done it, or she could have done it another way, but I feel like having the prep team and having Katniss being supportive of the prep team and Gale not, I feel like that's an important like wedge in between them.
Yeah, I see that.
I feel
Yeah.
like
I
that
can
could have
see that.
happened with Effie though, because it's not like Gale is
But
close with
Katniss feels
Effie.
closer to Effie, so I could definitely see that. That's a good point, Jerry.
I don't know. I just like to see how cruel District 13 is. Like, I know it's a kind of sadistic of me, but like that scene with the prep team is very shocking. And it just shows how like District 13 doesn't give a crap about how they treat Capitol born citizens. Like, I think that sort of dynamic would have done really, really well, like seen in the films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's
mean-
probably a bit of like revenge
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
there too, like almost enjoying it in a way.
They
No,
could
I
have
agree.
done like the Chase Your idea in the movie. I think that would make sense too.
Really, I
Yeah.
think they could have probably had all four of them. You could add Effie in there and it would still make sense. Like, okay, they got out her basically like her entire prep squad.
Mm,
Like that still makes sense. It checks off all the boxes, and you don't have to come up with weird, Effie stuff
yeah.
at the end. Because in Mockingjay, that's my one critique of the book is that the Effie's ending is just so unexplained. Like,
Yeah.
why is she still alive? you're telling me Senna died, Portia died, all these people died, and Effie made it through like that? That to me doesn't make sense. It never has. But
I agree with that.
Yeah, so we find them in District 13, and that ends chapter 3.
What a
Um,
book.
We find out that they stole bread.
Yes.
Reminds me of like Les Mis. I don't know if that was like
It reminds
Oh
me of
my
Aladdin.
to be a
God.
connection there, but
Oh
like
my God.
a loaf
I
of
was
bread.
I was in a tour of Les Mis like back in like 2015. So yes.
But I feel like in Les Mis, that's kind of like about the blurred lines and in like morality as well. And I feel like that's exactly
bloodline.
what we're seeing
God.
here.
Not that
no.
not those.
That song is a problem.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see. Like, I really wish that they would have kind of shown. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the Mockingjay deleted scenes, like where they have like like the people tattooing the schedule on their arm and all that stuff. Like the world building of District 13, I wish they would have kept. Like, I just don't think they showed enough with it. Because in the book, like you get a lot of that, but in the movies, it's just like, what? She's in this underground bunker. Okay, cool.
Well, she's talking a lot about how she feels even more controlled here in District 13 than anywhere else, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my God.
Was that in chapter 3 or chapter 4? That line about control, because I thought, like, I never picked up on this when I was a kid. I don't know if I was just like, what was going
Might
on in
be
my
in
head.
chapter 3
Okay, yeah, I was just curious
when they're talking about like the schedule.
Oh yeah, it might have even been last week, to be honest.
I think it was in chapter 3. I'm not finding it.
Anyway, yeah, it's fine.
But they do get to go hunting.
Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
Little free time.
This just reminds me of like, you know, that Tumblr back in the day, just girly things.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
yes.
my God. Oh my God.
That's awesome.
I read this article recently about that whole the person that started that just girly things. She regrets it.
Really? Why?
Because she said that she like kind of added to the stereotype of like what girls, quote unquote, girls should be doing.
Interesting.
Coming out gay in the end though, and it was kind of like this. Didn't she end up coming out as gay at some point?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
I love that. Like, to me, that's like the best twist in all of it. You know?
No, it really is.
It was like, oh, it really was just girly things.
Well, while they're hunting, we get that scene.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, in the
movie. Go hunting.
And the animals here are not nearly suspicious enough, she says. And it just, then this is the part where Gail starts to frustrate me. Like, oh my.
This convo. This is like when you see how different their worldviews are really becoming or are. And I love that they're having
agreeing
this...
with Gail again.
Oh no.
Well, we can get into that. I think it's so funny that they're like skinning like animals too while they're having this conversation.
Cute.
Like the audacity, I feel like, that he asks like why she cares so much about her prep team, like people.
Yeah. This
And
kind of
then
makes
he really
it's
convinces
such
her
a-
by the end that she's wrong.
He-
She's like, why am I even thinking about it that way? Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's like, no,
Because
Katniss.
Gail's the gaslighting king. Just
Amen.
gaslighting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
this combo.
I hate Gail. I hate
Yes,
Gail
we
so
hate
much.
Gail.
Gaslight, gatekeep, Gale.
There you go.
Gaslight,
Yes.
gatekeep, Gail. Gaslight, gatekeep, Gail,
Gale
boss.
Wait.
Gale
Write that
boss.
down. Write that down.
Gale boss.
It's already
making
typed
that
down.
into a
I
shirt.
got you.
Yes, write it down. Make a shirt. We'll all
I'm
wear
writing
it.
it down right now.
Iconic.
I
love
hate
that.
him. Oh my god. But he's just like, why do you care about them? Like,
Yes.
like, okay, this is such a. This might be kind of a because it does relate to current political events that's going on in America right now. People that vote for Trump and that are Trump supporters, I see them as capital supporters, if that makes sense. Like I'm just like, they don't know any better, a lot of them. Like, yes, they are awful people, and they, like, at least they're not to the extent of like they're voluntarily witnessing kids kill each other, but like, you know, they don't agree with certain ideals that I want to say a lot of other people agree with. And like when people are like, oh, I want Trump supporters to die, all of them, I'm just like, there's still people like
Yeah.
that have feelings. Like, I mean, you can't just generalize a population like that, which is how Gail kind of feels about this whole thing.
Well, it reminds me of like in Ballad, Coriolanus, like them talking or putting the tributes in cages and referring to them as animals. Like that's what this
Yes.
kind of like reminds me of, is
Mhm.
like this idea of viewing like fellow humans as like animals. And like, I don't know, I just see Gail siding more with like the capital side there. And that's where I'm kind of like, that's why I'm so disgusted by him, is just because it's like, why can't you have empathy for somebody else? I don't know.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not hard. Like,
I
just
hate
do
that
it.
scene
Like,
in Ballad though. It's like,
I
oh
know,
yeah,
I
they're
know you do.
animals. It's like, okay, come
know.
on. Like Gail is a little bit more like, I think Suzanne is trying to write his perspective in a way that like is convincing, like
Mhm.
that makes
Yeah.
some sort of sense. I mean, that's what she said. I was going back and reading the 10th anniversary interview that she did, and she's like, I had to go through and like when writing these different like worldviews, they had to both be believable. Like they had to both like make sense somewhat. Whereas I'm like, Suzanne, like you just have the little kids being like animals. But
Yeah.
Or please
He
don't
knew
feed the
we'd take it either
animals.
way.
Please don't be the animals. Oh.
I mean, I
Oh.
do kind of like understand like where Gail's coming from, like in that paragraph of like they know what's going on, but then Katniss comes
Yeah.
in with the like they're brainwashed though.
Mhm.
Like they don't know the difference between like the morality in the same way. Like I feel like it's not their fault.
I mean, I know we talk a
It's-
lot about Ballad, but I think it again, it's interesting to hear from such an early capital perspective, because we get to see people who are brainwashed and then people who aren't brainwashed, and like different, like varying opinions on the games. And so that's just something that I like about Ballad. You know, I love Ballad, but just something that came to my brain when you said that.
Yeah, I feel like that makes the like little kids being like, oh, they're district, they're animals, a little bit more like even worse, because we see the mentors talk about it like in a more nuanced way, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like they seem a little bit more like the whole population seems a little bit more conflicted. To be honest, it seems like they're not at the level of them just being like, oh yeah, they're animals, like they're not people at all. Whereas I feel like in Katniss's time, maybe they would be more likely to see it that way. I don't know.
They're not
That's
too
what I
far
liked
away
about-
though.
Yeah, it's 60 years.
Yeah.
But that's what I liked about Ballad, though, is like it just didn't seem like anybody was on board with the games. Like the general public was not a big fan of the
Mhm.
Hunger Games.
Yeah. We get a mention of Greasy Say, and Greasy Say saying that
Queen.
it's not creative enough in District 13's kitchen. So who's the most creative Hunger Games character you can think of? Lucy Gray.
Effie.
There we
Oh,
go.
Yeah.
Ah, hey.
Anna,
Cinna.
Hey,
She
hey,
writes
hey.
one song that
You are
lasts
all
60 years.
supposed to agree.
Cressida.
Stop. I'm trying so hard with this theory.
Oh, yeah. Lucy Gray, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Hey,
listen,
That was you?
say,
Well, she finally made it to District 13.
I'm
Took her
so
long
glad.
enough.
I'm so glad that Greasy Say is still alive. That's all that matters.
oh my god.
I think that she survived Ballad. Like she was in Ballad.
Yeah,
Like 100%.
exactly. Like that is Lucy Gray. It's fine.
I don't want to say the Greasy Say is Lucy Gray. I see that
Hey, hey,
theory. I was explaining this.
What
I
did
was
you
I
say?
was explaining this. I was explaining this last podcast I was on. I was introduced to this theory. I do think there's some validity to it, but because AJ, I don't think that we've been on a podcast together. I think Lucy Gray died. I really do think that Snow killed her, but I don't know if that's just like the doomer in me, or I'm just like,
No, I'm with you on
yes,
that.
let me think of the worst thing. But
She did.
I do think that.
Mhm.
But if she were to have been anybody, I guess it would be Greasy Say.
Oh yes.
Holly, to quote the wise Dwight Schrute, she's as dead as every dead animal who has ever died.
Oh my god, yes.
I love you so much.
Who's Dwight?
Hey,
I'm just
hey.
playing. I'm kidding.
Like you're under a rock.
I was about to be like, Chase, I'm gonna give you my Peacock login and you're gonna have some homework.
Please don't make me. No, I'm just playing. I've watched it. It's pretty
I was
good.
gonna say it's not even homework when you watch all this.
Yeah.
It's office work.
Funny.
Oh my god.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, and then she goes up to after she comes back, she goes to approach Coin before her speech. And I think it's so badass when they're talking about Annie and Coin goes, "Oh, we don't need to put her name on, like that's not
Oh
necessary."
yes.
And she goes, "No, then it shouldn't be a problem." I'm like, "Oh yes, Katniss." I love that moment.
That's the one thing that I wish we got Mockingjay. I guess in the whole series, like as much as I love Jennifer Lawrence's Katniss, I think she's perfect. I wish we would have gotten more snippy Katniss
Yeah.
in the movies, because like there's very few times where we get snippy Katniss.
Maybe you should
and,
throw
like,
the sword.
like literally
More of
God, I
that,
love that
please.
scene though. Honestly, more of that. Like
Definitely
there's so many like lines of dialogue in this where I'm just like, I can't imagine Jennifer Lawrence saying this.
There's like see, I can. That's the thing. I'm like, I'll read the books and I'm like, girl, Katniss, you are funny. You are funny. You're traumatized.
she is so funny. But like, I just couldn't imagine in a movie form them just like doing that whole line. I don't like even when she's giving
Just
her
like
demands.
tone wise.
Yeah, like totally. It just doesn't. As much as I think that Jennifer Lawrence is a perfect Katniss, like I just don't. I can't imagine her saying some of this stuff.
I feel like they were worried about like the tone of it being like too up and down, and so that's why they took out some of that stuff.
But,
like one of the
also,
Finnick scenes, you know.
Oh, the Finnick scenes are so good though. Oh my god. especially like in this in chapter 4, like when no, is it chapter 4, chapter 3, when he's like they're giving the demands. Coin is reading the demands, and she goes up to Finnick, and he just seems so like vulnerable. And like in the movie, I think they did a good job with that scene, but like I don't think they really showed how broken he was.
Mhm.
Like it could have gone a lot more emotional because it's sad. It's so sad in the book. But like
they
in the
did have
movie, you're
that
just
like open at the beginning, which showed how broken
that
he
open at the
was. I
beginning
mean,
was God, that open at the beginning was so upsetting to me.
Yeah.
that was good.
God, like, which is so weird because like that was something that was in Catching Fire. Like that whole scene was in Catching Fire, and they put it into Mockingjay, and I was like, okay, I vibe with this, and also it makes me cry.
That set the tone.
It really did. That whole like, oh, like I wish I were dead. I wish they were all dead, and so are we. And like Katniss just having a single tear down her eye in the movie, like that ruins me every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want that. I want that in Ballad. Give me some emotional scenes like that.
See, I'm just like Emily and I recorded a Mockingjay Part 1 favorite scenes episode this past weekend. And we're just like talking about all the scenes that we loved. And I'm like, oh, I need this episode to come out.
And all the scenes
Listen.
we didn't love.
Yeah.
Listen, if y'all ever do another podcast or another cast like that, like let me know.
Oh my gosh,
Because I would be more than open
join
to
us
talk
for
about
Catching Fire or Mockingjay Part 2.
You can be
either
here.
one. There's so many scenes, book and movie wise, that I'm obsessed with.
Okay. We'll
I
have
just
to
have
have
faith
you
in
on.
Francis Lawrence. Oh, thank you. I have faith in Francis Lawrence, though. I think he's gonna have those kind of like intimate scenes, hopefully, in
Mhm.
Ballad. It's just because
Yeah.
we haven't seen this. We haven't seen the thing yet. We don't know what it's gonna look like. We don't know what it's gonna be like. So
Mm-hmm.
I know
we
it's
just
not
have to have
the
faith.
same, but like I feel like that would match the kind of intensity and like emotional intensity you're talking about. I feel like that conversation between Snow and Highbottom at the end is
Oh,
moments.
yes,
Because it's just them
100%.
two behind closed doors. I feel like it would be silent. Like I imagine either like a very quiet score or like no score. Like I feel like it would just be so like.
Oh,
like
I
you
hope
could-
so. That sounds
with it
great.
Let me paint you a picture here.
Yeah, I love it.
Also, the fact that we have James and Howard back, which I am
Yes.
so
Yes,
excited.
yes.
I listen to that score daily. I absolutely love that score. I listen to it as background music all the time.
When
It's
I was-
so good.
When I was in high school, I mapped out like the score for like the first movie, like all like if I were to play all in one go, like the length of each track, and then like where specific moments in each track is and stuff. And I tried to like I'm saying tried, like it was not like a real try, it was more like a fun thing I was trying to do. I tried to basically write a script of like my original characters, but like where the story would match up as the score would play.
No, I don't blame you. No, same.
And I
But,
never
like, I
did
would think
anything
of
with it, but now I'm like, wait, I don't even know where it is. I wish I could like, if I ever find it, I will share that with you guys, but it is literally buried in one of my like class binders from my sophomore year of high school, and God knows where that is at this point in time. But like, you know, I spent so much time with
While
that.
we're here.
Oh, good.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
when I
No, you finish. You finish.
Not robots.
Not robot chase.
No, no.
Am I here?
when I listen to
Am I here
when
now?
I get off at whenever I'm coming home from work, which is at 42nd Street, like the subway station in New York, it's very
Mhm.
busy and crowded, and like you have to dodge people. It's a very like intense situation, honestly.
Why are we the same
I put-
person? I know exactly where you're going with this.
I put on Rebels Attack for Mockingjay Part 2, and I'm just like dodging the subway station. I'm not even kidding you. I do this I'm 26. Like I do this to
I
this
love
day.
that so
That's
And
much.
then,
awesome.
Funny. This is why I became a character designer. I would do that on my commute to and from school every day. I went to high school in the Upper East Side, sorry, and I live in Chelsea, so it was like a 45-minute commute one way, which is the majority of the score. So I was living out whole adventures in my like commute to school. And then it would get so elaborate that that's where like I started coming up with like original characters and all this stuff. And like I'm literally a character designer now, like because I did that, and I still
maybe
do. That.
Maybe I'm in the wrong profession. Then I need to start getting into character design because
You and I need to meet up and just like have like our AirPods in or something, but then like time it and then just do it.
Yes.
and that's honestly the score is so good. Like I'm so excited. I hope he has a lot of homages. Like I'm not even talking about Hanging Tree or like whatever. Like I hope that he does like the Katniss theme.
He so will. I know he will.
Mhm. I hope so.
Well, while we're
he's
here, I
so
just want to
good.
give a quick. Am I better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the greatest piece of music ever composed, Booby Trap. Just want to give that shout out. Honorary. Every time we bring up the score, I've got to shout out Booby Trap,
Yes.
the GOAT.
As you
Good.
should.
I love like the entering the Capitol training center,
when I cross the bridge, because I live in Brooklyn, when I cross the bridge going into Manhattan to go to work, because like my train goes over the Williamsburg Bridge, I see the skyline of the city, and I have that entering the Capitol, like like play.
I love this.
That
It's
there's somebody else
themes
in this world who has this very niche and very specific experience.
And like even with the Katniss theme or like the Mockingjay theme, like the beginning, like with the music
Katniss-
building, it's so good. If I'm just like feeling depressed, I would just
No.
listen to that. Like it's just like, oh yeah, this is me.
No, like I don't know if you did this, but like when we went into lockdown, like at first, right? And like there was nothing to do.
I know where
would
this
take
is
little
going.
like solo walks by myself throughout like the shut down city, which was already so like dystopian to like live through. But then like I did that combined with the score, and then I went running around New York City with my NECA arena jacket.
Oh my god, I have the same thing. I have the same NECA arena jacket. Oh my god.
How incredible would it have been if we had like bumped into each other on one of our
Just
walks?
running around in it.
And I'd be like,
you guys need to meet up and run
Yeah.
around together.
Really do. I know this
I
is
Just
have
run
the
around.
I have the District 12 bag as well.
same.
Like, oh my god.
I'll bring Buttercup.
This needs to
Let's-
happen.
Oh, we have to do this. Oh my god.
We'll talk about this.
I'll message you on Instagram. We got this.
Yeah, you guys got to take pictures too, so we have that.
I
It'd
really
be
am
so
out
cute.
collecting tribute talk members like Infinity Stones. I don't care. I'm making it a mission now. Like I'm meeting all of you.
100%. But I'm also like, I'm a freak when it comes to the Hunger Games. So like,
Girl,
as we
this-
all
I-
are. Like,
listen.
I think
I
a
literally
lot
had
of us are on the
tattooed on
same
my
level
arm.
here.
Yeah.
which
I was like, I
which is why this
literally
is.
have Jennifer Lawrence tattooed on my arm. Like we're there, you know? Like,
Oh, I love. That's why I love having this conversation every Monday. Like,
yes,
this is what it's about.
exactly. Trust me, there's very little that you could say or do that would make me go, that's weird. Like,
That's a little much.
right.
I mean,
Like, toning it down a notch.
No, there are times where I've like talked about when somebody's talked about the Hunger Games around me, I like start going off, and they're just like, okay, I'm not even kidding you. I've been told this. Okay, maybe you shouldn't tell people this because of like how obsessed I am with it.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, also just for some perspective, when Josh and Jen did their book signing at Barnes and Noble in 2012, that's the only time I skipped school, and I had my mom's permission. So it's like the most rebellious but nerdiest thing I've ever done at the same time.
Iconic.
And I told my school that I was sick, and
iconic.
The local Metro newspaper, for some freaking reason, decided that they wanted me on the cover for the next day. And so in the moment I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then going to school the next morning, I was on the subway and seeing all these people like reading the newspaper with my face on it. I was like, this is very weird. And then I got to school, and my dean was in the hallway pretty much waiting for me, like holding up the newspaper, being like, care to explain? And I was like, my like gut response was just, that's not me, as I'm wearing a Mockingjay pin.
Yes.
That I wore every day. So like I was like,
I love that.
That's not me.
So was your Dean Highbottom by chance?
I wish. She was awful. She was more, I don't even know how to describe her, but she was the worst. She was like Effie if Effie was actually evil. Like, I don't know. I just would pinch your cheek because, you know, even though you're in high school, to her, you're like that doesn't know anything. So like, whatever, just a very weird, awful person. But I just remember that and being like, that's not me. Mockingjay twinkling light of like in the fluorescent light of the hallway, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And you know, like fast forward a few years later, I get my autism diagnosis, and the doctor who diagnosed me was like, we did like a Zoom call, which was like the end part of the assessment or whatever, which is it's not really an assessment, it's just like talking about your assessment or whatever. And like the Zoom call, whatever comes on, and then it's me and my backdrop of my shelves.
Oh my God.
She's autistic herself, so I know she didn't mean anything bad by this, but she literally looks at me and she's like, how have you not been diagnosed earlier? Like, I was like, oh, no, actually though. And like, yeah, it's, you know, I've come to understand it's my special interest, and I tend to like info dump, but not everybody's ready for that. And like, I need to keep myself in check about it sometimes. That was a really long-winded way of saying like, I know what you mean, people telling you to calm down or minimize how much you talk about it and stuff. But that's why we're here every Monday with our Instagram, being crazy together. And yeah.
We got to bond over this. We all got to bond over this.
And on that note, it's 11:11.
It is, at least for us.
Yeah, I was like, not for me. This week was super fun. I seriously love talking to all of you. You're all so special, amazing, and
thank you.
Yeah, especially Chase.
Telling me stuff I already knew.
On Chase for the hot takes to stir up the conversation.
Exactly. That's what Chase is here for. Stir it up. And
I love to stir the pot.
And sometimes Chase's hot takes are not even hot takes, but they're hot takes because Chase said them.
That's very true. Very true.
My takes are always hot.
I love
it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, if that's all for tonight, I mean, we've been on here for a few hours. We'll be on here for a few hours next week too. So join us for that. We'll be doing chapters 5 and 6, and of course talking about Ballad next week. We can't not talk about Ballad. But yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to talk about or shout out or mention before we leave?
No, I think I've gotten out everything I want to say.
There's no one else I'd want to talk about Hunger Games with for 2 hours. Over 2 hours.
I'm just happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you. You're like now a member of Tribute Talk, so we expect you here every week.
Listen, so you will not get rid of me. You will not get rid of me at all. This is my highlight of my week, honestly.
I can't wait to see your pictures with AJ of you two running around
Yeah.
New York.
Oh my god, yes, please, AJ.
We could run
yes.
around Central Park and like hang
I'm
out
here for it.
at boulders and
We can
just
play Hunger Games. We can play
Yes.
Oh my
Hunger Games. We can wear
Oh.
our dragons.
Oh my gosh, what I
I
would
want to
give.
come.
Yeah.
we can recreate
Please, let's do it.
as the rock grabbing Katniss's leg. We can recreate some, I don't know what we can, but we can recreate that. You should throw the sword.
Yeah.
There's so
Oh
much
my
we
God.
can do.
I can climb up a tree. I'm here for it.
Perfect.
I love this. Okay, now I'm having major FOMO.
We have to have a meetup
Everybody's
in New York
invited.
City at some point.
Yeah.
And if the people that don't live in New York, please come stay with me. I have plenty of room, honestly.
Woohoo.
Open invitation.
On my
Yeah.
way. Awesome. Well, thank you again, guys. It was so great talking, and we'll see you next week. Same time.